This beautiful morning, I greet you, my students. I say, how are we this morning? Hope we are fine. All right, we'll look at your week 3 work this morning on our usual geography, talking about sources of GIS data. That is, sources of geographic information system data. That's what we have this morning. Before we go deep, we need to look at the objectives of the lesson as we normally do. That's in our usual way, what we intend to achieve in course of this lesson or at the end of this lesson. Talking about the learning objectives. At the end of this lesson, students should be able to identify the sources of data in geographic information system, that's GIS environment. I come again, identify the sources of data in GIS environment, and then collect data for GIS. Collect data for GIS. Before we also go in detail, I will need to remind us that we talked about in our previous term, precisely the second term. Well, now we're in third term. In second term, we talked about geographic information system. We discussed some of these things, what it really means. What we are dealing with today is how do you get the data that you use? There is a modern world. That is where we are today. That is, in this present world, we make use of the electronics. We do not just do manual and other things. There is mechanization and electronic use in this modern world. Those days, or far back decades, there was nothing like scanner. You have your result this day, you want to send somebody over or in UK, you stay in Nigeria here, the way it looks here, when he prints the result, it will also look exactly the way it is in this place. Then when they do what is called collation of data, they collect and collate, then they keep their files somewhere. That is when you hear that fire came to burn some, to destroy a particular office, and then the records cannot be seen. But these days we make use of software, and it has also come into geography. Not just making use of software. What I am doing presently, I am teaching online, making use of the computer. You that will watch the video, you're making use of the computer. This is not just sitting down, you write, you copy. When you are going home and water touches what we are doing now, it will be uploaded to you on the school portal. You will stay there and download it. Even your own that you've downloaded, you can share for your family members with your phone as you sit there. That is, Peter, look at what my teacher has produced. Look at what my school has produced for us. Even in this period of coronavirus issue that we cannot see facially, they are still teaching us. This is electronic work that we are talking about. Even when your own is being affected, your device is being destroyed by virus or it is stolen, the one that is on your portal or the school portal, it will never go away. You will get there and get it. It could be transferred to your email. Anytime you want to get it, you collect it. Not like the other way that you hear that fire just came up, and then, or if after teaching you on the notes, you are going home. That is the manual I'm discussing now. You're going home, and then Ray comes to meet you on the way. It touches your book or wets your book. When you get home, the whole ink will mix together. You'll not be able to read that particular note again. What you have now will remain in the portal, will remain in your phone or your laptop, even in your email. Anytime you want to get it, you just visit there, collect it, and watch it. So what am I saying? Computerized world has come into geography. That's what we are looking at today. Talking about the data input. It means how the data is being automated, that is gotten, then converted into form that can be stored and analyzed. I'm talking about storing information now. They analyze them in computer. You see, that is a computerized geography world that we are now living in. It's not like the other day that you see, you just do manual work. You want to go for what we call, for example, field investigation. What is happening in that particular place? For example, in the northwest, what is happening there? Why is it that Boko Haram can fight better in the northeast and cannot fight better in the northwest? There are factors that can cause all these things. You survey the land, you make it digitalized, use your instruments to get there, then you study the land. Remember in your SS1 work, I told you the types of soil, and these soils, they have different properties. There are some areas where some people can function better than the other. So these are things that we look into. You get this information, you computerize them or stored in the computer. The model procedure used depends on the origin or model of the data. How you get the data or the one you want to use. Like we are doing now, we're doing online teaching. Some people, some smaller schools, let me not use smaller schools, some schools are just doing normal WhatsApp recording. Just talk on WhatsApp, then that's all. But if you look in detail or in depth, you will know that what our school is doing, we are spending resources for you to get our picture and what we are designing for you in the right way. Else you'll be hearing the voice of person talking, you not even know that this is your teacher or this is not your teacher. So this, what the data input means, how you get this data, how the data is being automated, and then when you, after getting it, convert them into form that can be stored in computer. For example, you want to say, this is your result, like we analyze your result. Person comes first position, somebody comes second position. The individual subject teachers would have gone on their own to do their exams. And then this one comes with its result, this one comes with result. You will now arrange them, then now put them on your portal that Mr. or student A comes first, student B comes second, student C comes third, as the case may be. So what if you don't get this data, you will not be able to come out with a conclusion that student A came first. We also need to look at sources of GIS data. When I say GIS, I mean Geography Information System. The data, how do we get there? I've talked about the Northeast, Boko Haram and the army. Even you can say Boko Haram fights more or do better or defeats, normally overcome or defeats our army during wet season or during rainy season. I've heard of this on TVC News. Precisely Babajide Ochitoju that gives on journalist hangout that during wet season, the truck that our army use during wet season, we were taught the types of season in your SS1. That is the rainy season and the dry season. The rainy season is also called the wet season. During wet season, the truck, that is the vehicles that convey our army or our troop, always get stuck on the way. They don't normally move freely in that northeast area. Geographically, the area was examined, was surveyed, and then this area were being looked at. This data was kept for that become a fact that people cannot place their shoulder on that, yes, or place their leg or foot on that. This is what is making the Boko Haram to be able to defeat our army during the wet season. It is because of the topography and the nature of the soil in that particular area. We talk about how do you get this GIS data, how to get the data? Land surveying. Land surveying means measuring a particular, measuring, then you represent a particular land on table or plan or layout for specific purpose. It could also be to measure the boundary or position or size of land. You want to know how a particular land is, how big or how small it is. You can also survey land for the particular purpose I talked about, to know how the topography is, the levelness. When I talk about topography, I mean the levelness, that is how high or rugged, how smooth or rugged, or how high or low the place is. That is topography and relief. Relief means how high or low the place is, then topography means how smooth or rugged the place is. You can study the soil. These are done during or in land surveying. Another thing is remote sensing. This one has many things. That is, we have talked about remote sensing before. A remote sensing helps us to know the natural and artificial quality of a particular, of some areas. In management, people get job through remote sensing. For example, we talk about agriculture, urban planning. People want to know how that you have heard of Lagos master plan. These are done by geographers. This is where market should be. This is where road will be. This is where we shouldn't give this area to area boys called Agberos. What do you call them? So there are ways, even in medical technology, environmental management, you do all these things in them. They relate to geography. The map digitizing, that is the extraction of data from the graph. For example, in most scientific work, some maps, they have plots, but they don't have data values. You just, that represents, you put a dot here, a dot there. I will give you example of the land surveying, for example, before we go further. This is a man that is trying to look at the size of land and then study the place. It could be how far this place is from a particular place, but he is studying with the instruments I saying here, they are used for land surveying. This is surveyor or person surveying a particular land. This is remote sensing I was talking about. This is energy source. We're doing remote sensing. It has some procedures. I want to use these diagrams for you to understand better. This is the energy source. This is where the thing comes from. Comes here. Then you see here, data representation and processing is just what you have, like what you have in computer. After input, there are processing before the what? The output. This is data transmission. This one, or conversion, where this one is happening after you've received, you've imputed the data, then the transmission or conversion of the data happens here. This one, you see, is this particular is like departments. This particular area is the data interpretation and analysis department. What has been entered into, or what has been brought here and received here, just like you have the gate man, the receptionist, the person comes to the director's office. The director will now be the one to look at it well and then give the proprietor that this is what should happen. The gate man does not have the right to publish for the school, or the secretary or the receptionist does not have the right. From the receptionist, it can even also go to the principal before the director, and then finally the owner of the school as a proprietor. So it has step. This is where it is being interpreted, or interpretation department here. Just like have input, processing, and output. Then this is the output, product application. When you say product application, it means it has been released. It is doable. It is applicable. What you have received from here, that has what you have put in, imputed from here, you have received from here, that has been analyzed here, is qualified to be published or used. That is what we mean by that. Then we also need to look at map digitizing. It doesn't just it's not too much of grammar. It means using digital method for map. That is just a simple meaning. Map digitizing. That is what you are saying here. This is a map that is being digitized in this system. This is a system you are saying. That is the meaning of it. That's just map. Then another sources are map scanning. When the input comes, and before it comes, it could be through scanning. The existing map of different scales contain different types of information about area of interest. It's noted in small, big detail. That's what I said here. The map is scanned. You feel, when you say, okay, this is what we have, then you scan it. The information are fed into a GIS and used in other GIS information. You get information, you scan it, it is being digitized. Then field investigation means just to go out, like this emergency period now, we're having coronavirus. How this particular area, how have they been affected by this particular zone? What happened in this zone that make them to be more vulnerable to this particular problem or disease than the other area? That is what we mean by the field investigation. It's not just staying at home analyzing. This one needs to go out. Then tabular data. That is the common use in GIS. It involves the use of special data arranged in tables. After you've gotten what you mean, after investigation, you scan and other things, then you arrange them in table. Just like I've told you, A came first, B came second, C came third. That is how you now arrange this on the table. These are electronic method or electronic geography. That is what we mean by this is map scanning or scanner. This is map that is scanned. This is the scanner, is a machine. So this is process called map scanning. These are electronics that are being used these days, unlike the modern days, unlike the olden days or far back decades, where we do just ordinary geography work and we say we are done. This is a scanner. I'll advise you in any of your work, while you watch video, take your time to pick the critical areas that are being treated. We need to also have a recap of what we have said from the beginning, that input, data input means how the data or information is being automated and converted into how the data is being automated and converted into information that are used or being fed into the computer. We talked about sources, where we get these sources of GIS. We talk about land surveying. You go to survey land, then you look at it, you bring information and order. We talk about the map scanning. You scan a map. We talk about map digitizing. There's a modern way. You now put it in a digital way. We talk about field investigation, going out to survey a particular or look at a particular place and then come back with the information that are useful, and so many others. We will see again for your week 4. Remember, always check your portal for your assignment. Thank you very much, and God bless for now.